In this video, we're continuing on with the infinite geometry free worksheet surface area of pyramids and cones, picking up where we left off with number 7. Our directions in this next section are to find the lateral area and surface area of each figure and to round our answer to the nearest tenth if necessary. Now, before we jump into number 7, I want to explain how we're going to be solving for lateral area. Let's take a look at the figure in number 3. If we were to figure out the lateral area, that would be what I am shading now, the area of all the faces excluding the base. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate triangles, where we know the side length or the base of each of those triangles is 13 as labeled in the diagram, and also the height of those triangles is the slant length of 21.9. So if we were to find the area of one of the triangles, area is 1/2 base times height, where that base is that side length of the pentagon S, which is 13. So we'll do 1/2 of S, and then we're going to multiply that by the slant length, which I'll label as SL for slant length. So the side length of the base times the slant length multiplied by 1/2 will give us the area of one triangle. However, we want the area of all 5 triangles. So we would take the area of 1, and since those triangles are congruent, we would multiply that by 5. But we're multiplying it by 5 because that's the number of triangles, which is the number of sides in of our pentagon. So 1/2 times the side length times SL times N. And remember, multiplication is commutative. So we can write this as 1/2 of N times S times the slant length. But what's N times S? N times S is simply the perimeter of the base. So for lateral area, we would take 1/2 of the perimeter and multiply that to the slant length. And then of course surface area, we would take that lateral area and add it to the area of the base. With a prism, we would have to add it to 2 times the area of the base. However, there is only one base, therefore it's just multiplied to the area of the base. So now let's pick up with number 7. In number 7, you can see that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided figure, so that's a pentagon as the base. So the number of sides in is 5. And our side length, S, is going to be 8 feet. Also note that they give us the slant length of 10.6. So for lateral area, remember, is 1/2 of the perimeter, which is N times S, and we're going to multiply that to slant length. But as opposed to writing slant length as SL, I'll write it as X. So 1/2 of N times S, 5 times 8 feet, will get multiplied to 10.6 feet. So we'll have 1/2 of 5 times 8, that's 1/2 of 40, which is 20, and when we multiply that by 10.6, we'll get 212, and that's feet squared. So lateral area in number 7 is 212 feet squared. However, now for surface area, we need to take the lateral area and add that to the area of the base, which, since the base is a regular polygon and that polygon is a regular pentagon, we're going to take lateral area and add it to 1/2 of the apothem times the perimeter, which we know is N times S. So lateral area of 212 feet squared plus 1/2 times the apothem of 5.5 feet times the perimeter, 5 times 8, which is 40 feet. That'll be 212 feet squared plus 1/2 times 5.5 times 40 equals 110. And that's feet squared. So the area of the base is 110 feet squared and the lateral area is 212 feet squared. And when we add them together, we get 322 feet squared for the surface area. So lateral area is 212 feet squared. Adding that to the area of the base will give us our surface area of 322 feet squared. Moving on to number 8, calculating lateral area. That's equal to 1/2 of the perimeter times the slant length, which I'll write as x. So slant length x, we can see, is 11.3 centimeters. And for the base, we have a triangle. And this triangle happens to be 9 centimeters on each side. So the number of sides n is 3, and since each of those side lengths are congruent, we can just multiply 9 times 3 to get the perimeter. So we'll do 1/2 of 3 times 9 centimeters, and that will be multiplied to our slant length of 11.3 centimeters to give us our lateral area. 1/2 times 3 times 9 times 11.3 equals 152.55, which rounds to 152.6 centimeters squared. Now let's calculate surface area. Surface area equals the lateral area plus the area of the base. And since the base is a triangle, the base of our triangle base is 9 centimeters and the height is 7.8 centimeters. That'll be lateral area, which is 152.6 centimeters squared, plus the area of the base, which is 1/2 of the base's base of 9 centimeters, times the height of that base, 7.8 centimeters. So that'll be 152.6 centimeters squared, plus 1/2 times 9 times 7.8 is 35.1, and that's centimeters squared. So the base area is 35.1 centimeters squared, and when we add that to the lateral area of 152.6, we'll get that the entire surface area is 187.7 centimeters squared. And number 9, let's start out by calculating the perimeter. The perimeter P is going to be equal to n times s, since this is a regular polygon for the base. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, so n is equal to 6, and the side length s is equal to 6 inches. So perimeter is going to be 6 times 6 inches, which is 36 inches. Now for lateral area, we're going to take 1/2 of that perimeter of 36 inches, and that's going to be multiplied to the slant length, which is given to us as 12.2. So 1/2 times 36 times 12.2 equals 219.6, and that's inches squared. Now let's calculate the area of the base of this pyramid. The area of the base is going to be equal to 1/2 of the apothem, which is 5.2 inches, times the perimeter, which we calculated to be 36 inches. Remember, 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter is the area of a regular polygon. So 1/2 times 5.2 times 36 is equal to 93.6. And that's 93.6 inches squared. So for surface area, we're going to add the lateral area plus the area of a base. And since we've calculated both, we'll just add those together. So 219.6 inches squared plus 93.6 inches squared. And that is 313.2 inches squared for the surface area. And number 10, we're given a square as the base. So the area of that base is equal to length times width, which is 4 inches times 4 inches, which gives us 16 inches squared. So the area of the base is 16 inches squared. However, since this is a 4-sided figure, perimeter P is going to be equal to the number of sides 4 times the length of that side of 4 inches. So the area is 16 inches squared, and the perimeter is also 16, except it is 16 inches, not inches squared. So for lateral area, we're taking 1/2 of the perimeter of 16 inches and multiplying that by the slant length of 6.3 inches. 1/2 times 16 times 6.3 is going to be 50.4, and that's inches squared. So lateral area is 50.4 inches squared. And remember, surface area is lateral area plus the area of the base. 50.4 inches squared, and the area of the base, since it was a square, we already calculated that as 16 inches squared. So when we add those two together, we'll get 66.4 inches squared for the entire surface area in number 10. In number 11, let's calculate perimeter P. Since this is a regular polygon, that's going to be equal to the number of sides times the side length. The number of sides is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So N is equal to 5, and the side length, S, is 11 miles. So the perimeter P is equal to 5 times 11, and that is 55 miles. So for lateral area, we'll take 1/2 of the perimeter of 55 miles, and that will get multiplied to the slant length, which is given to us as 12.5 miles. So lateral area, 0.5 times 55 times 12.5 will give us 343.75, which rounds to 343.8, and that's miles squared. Now for surface area, it's the lateral area plus the area of the base. Note that we're given the apothem, which is 7.6. So the area of the base we can calculate as 1/2 of that apothem of 7.6 miles times the perimeter, which we calculated to be 55 miles. Therefore, the area of the base, 1/2 times 7.6 times 55, is equal to 209 miles squared. So adding 343.8 miles squared to 209 miles squared, we'll get the total surface area of 552.8 miles squared. In number 12, let's start again by calculating the perimeter. The perimeter P equals N times S. The number of sides is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So N is 6, and also note that the side length S is 6 centimeters, so 6 as well. So the perimeter is 6 times 6, which equals 36. Now, for the area of the base, since this is a regular hexagon, it's 1/2 the apothem of 5.2 centimeters times the perimeter, which we calculated to be 36 centimeters. So area is equal to 1/2 of 5.2 times 36. That is 93.6, and since our labels are centimeters, for area, we'll have centimeters squared. So now that we have perimeter, slant length, and the area of the base, we'll be able to calculate both lateral area and surface area. Lateral area is equal to 1/2 of the perimeter of the base times the slant length. So that's 1/2 of 36 times the slant length of 11.3. 1/2 times 36 times 11.3 equals 203.4. And since our labels are centimeters, for the measurements within our diagram, for area, we'll have centimeters squared. So lateral area for number 12 is 203.4 centimeters squared. And for surface area, that's lateral area plus the area of a base. So lateral area was 203.4 centimeters squared, and we're adding that to the area of the base, which was 93.6 centimeters squared. Adding those two numbers together, we'll get that the total surface area is 297 centimeters squared. So surface area in number 12 is 297 centimeters squared. Now for our last two problems, number 13 and 14, we're no longer given a diagram. However, they still give us the measurements we need, just in word form. So a pyramid has a slant height of 6.8 miles. And it's a triangular base whose measure is 11 miles on each side. So for lateral area, we're taking 1/2 of the perimeter, and we're multiplying that by the slant height or slant length. So 1/2 of the perimeter, well, if it's a triangular base and each side is 11, N is equal to 3, and our side length S is 11 miles. So perimeter is 3 times 11 miles, and our slant height is 6.8 miles. That means that lateral area equals 1/2 times 3 times 11 times 6.8, which is 112.2, and this is going to be miles squared. Now let's calculate surface area. Surface area equals lateral area plus the area of a base. Now our lateral area is 112.2 miles squared, the number we just calculated, and the area of the base, it says that the altitude of the base measures 9.5 miles. So for a triangle, we have to take 1/2 of the base times the height. And if each side measures 11 miles, that's 1/2 of 11 miles times that altitude or height within the triangle of 9.5 miles. So that's 112.2 miles squared plus 1/2 times 11 times 9.5 equals 52.25, which rounds to 52.3 miles squared. And adding those together, we get 164.5 miles squared for the surface area and number 13. And lastly, in this video and on this worksheet, number 14. If you haven't already, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to my channel. All likes and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Now, number 14, it says that we have a rectangular pyramid, which means that the base of that pyramid is a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle, or the area of the base, is going to equal length times width, where one side is 4 inches and the other is 9 inches. So it'll be 4 inches times 9 inches, which will give us 36 inches squared for the area of the base. The slant height, or slant length, is given to us as 10.1 inches. And we also have 9.2 inches. So now we have two separate slant heights. And this is different than any of the problems we've done before, because our bases have all been regular, and since the bases were regular, all the faces that were not the base were congruent triangles. However, now we have two separate sets of congruent triangles. So drawing the net really quickly for you, here we would have 9 inches on one side and 4 inches on the other side for the rectangular base. And the slant heights are 10.1 and 9.2 respectively. So that means that 10.1 is the slant height that comes from the edge that's 4 inches long, so this is 10.1, and 9.2 is the slant height that comes from the edge of 9 inches. So let's calculate lateral area. As opposed to using perimeter, we're going to have two triangles that have an area of 1/2 times 9 times 9.2, and we're going to add that to two other triangles, because now we've taken care of these two triangles. The two other triangles have an area of 1/2 times 4 times 10.1. So 2 times 1/2 is 1, and 2 times 1/2 is 1. So we're going to take 9 and multiply that by 9.2 and get 82.8 as the area of the two triangles that have a base of 9 inches. And we're going to add that to 4 times 10.1, the area of both of the triangles with a base of 4 inches. That's 40.4. And when we add 82.8 to 40.4, we get 123.2, and that's going to be inches squared for the lateral area. So because the side lengths of the base were not all congruent, we had to split it up and do two separate groupings. So we did two triangles that had the same area and added them to the other two triangles that had the same area to get 123.2 inches squared. And now remember surface area, we'll take that lateral area and add it to the area of the base. So that's our 123.2 inches squared plus the area of the base, which we calculated as 36 inches squared in the very beginning. Adding those together, you will get 159.2 inches squared for the entire surface area in number 14. And with that, we finish out this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment below. And as always, like, subscribe, and share.